Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Happy, what is it, Tuesday? Yeah.
It is Tuesday.
Whoa, it is Tuesday, everybody, and we have a hot show here planned for you today. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here as I am every Tuesday to have a takeover of Wrestling Inc. and all of our social channels, our media. It's the beloved Issa. Issa, welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Nick, thank you. I missed you last Tuesday. And you know what? We called it. We were at the tailgate and we knew one of us was going to end up running into flight issues. It was me this time.
Yeah, no, it was for sure. I mean, there was something literally in the air when it came to flight issues in and out of Dallas.
And you didn't even stay for Monday. You know that as soon as Monday Night Raw ended, we walked out and it stormed like hurricane storm. I was like, if this the sign that we got to go back to reality now, it is.
Yeah, no, I missed it. I dodged the bullet. I was looking at that weather. I left Monday afternoon. I was like, I think I'm leaving right at the right time right now. So
yeah, you did. You would have gotten stuck in Dallas if you left any later. And even leaving the arena, we all had to stand like corner out outside of the 7-Eleven because the Ubers were like $100 to take you 2 blocks down.
Oh yeah, insane. Yeah, but we had a great time. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you. We covered so much. The tailgate was great. We got to hang out at GCW. I encourage you to get as physically close to the action as possible.
You did. You were a great hype man. I gotta say, I think at Bloodsport at one point I might have gotten blood because I got so close thanks to your encouragement.
We're press, Issa. We're press. Our job is to get close to the action and get coverage. Get in there. Get in there.
I'm proud.
She did. So hey, we're gonna talk a little bit about WrestleMania here, WrestleMania Backlash. You're all welcome to join the conversation. The chat room is open wherever you're watching us in social media form. Sherrod here, checking in from Hampton University, listening to y'all during class. Hey, that's great. Maybe
I love it.
Maybe get your money's worth out of your degree, Sherrod. Maybe focus up a little bit, but not too much. Pay attention. I want to say, we got King TD, Drew, Bruce Barrett. What's up? Jerry's here. Adam's here. But it's MCasp here saying, rest in peace, Gilbert Godfrey. Gottfried, by the way, 2 T's, not a D. Nope, no big deal. What an iconic voice. Too many people dying. It is so true. I'm a huge Gilbert Godfrey fan. I'm glad you brought it up to start the show up. I actually have a great WrestleMania-related Gilbert Godfrey story where after I left WrestleMania 35 in New York, it was the last night in town. I stayed through Raw. After Raw, I went to this beautiful bar that was across from my hotel, and I had way too much to drink because it was my last night in town. I also may have had some stuff I needed to smoke up and get rid of before leaving town. So anyway, I was pretty turned last night in town. I didn't really sleep, and I get to the airport just like bloodshot eyes. And as I'm checking my bag in, I look next to me, and lo and behold, it's Gilbert Godfrey checking his bag in at LaGuardia at the same time I am, and I am just out of it, right? And at first was cool. I was like, dude, I'm a big fan. Love you. He took a photo with me. I'm trying to find the photo right now so I can share it on socials. And then we ran into each other again in the terminal area, and I just decided to just spill my guts about what a huge mark I was for Gilbert Godfrey and all the alternative comedy he did. And I think I brought up his wife swap episode, at which point he was just like, I have no idea who the hell this person is. And he was a very, very nice man. And it was just a wonderful memory I have. And he took way too much time to spend time with somebody who was obviously not put together and will be missed. I'm a huge Gilbert Godfrey fan. And I'm glad you brought him up, and I'm glad I got to tell that story because what a loss for everybody here today.
Yeah, I love to hear that story. That's incredible. May he rest in peace. Thoughts and prayers to friends and family. And agree, too many people are dying. And if we can meet them, give them their flowers while they're still alive, let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, you're New York City Demon Diva. The whole country, the world's thinking of y'all today. Sending our best out to everybody in New York today. What a rough time for y'all as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually in New York as we speak. And listen, I've been home, so I'm okay. But it was a scary situation. Not only people checking in, but me checking in with my close ones here to make sure, especially my people in Brooklyn, to make sure they were okay. It was a scary time.
Well, I'm glad you're all right. And yeah, absolutely hoping to find whoever that was and get this under control and stop it from ever happening again. So with that all kind of heavy stuff out of the way, man, let's talk some fun, stupid pro wrestling stuff, right?
Let's do
It is
it.
time for some. Oh, by the way, before we get to the news, later on, if you're in audio form, you're going to hear my latest interview. It's with Big Damo, better known as Killian Dane. He's going to be a part of a big tournament this weekend, a part of Progress Wrestling. Great conversation. We're going to drop that over on our YouTube channel right after we wrap up the live version of the newscast here today. And at the end of the show for everybody, we're going to talk about Pat McAfee, because who doesn't like talking about Pat McAfee? I thought it would just be a wonderful way to end the show. With that, it's time for news you can use. News that'll leave a bruise. Let's look at a PW Insider report here about how WWE internally has their heels and baby faces listed, primarily with Raw here. Now, the babyface side over on Raw, Cody Rhodes coming in strong. He is the number 2 babyface on Raw.
Should be number 1, honestly.
Well, Bobby Lashley's number 1 and AJ Styles is number 3. But tell me about it. Yeah, you think that Cody should be one above Bobby Lashley right now?
Right now, yeah. I think Cody's the hottest thing in Monday Night Raw right now, and he's doing such a good job. The promos that he's cutting. I thought Bobby Lashley did an incredible job last night. Probably one of his best promos ever. But he just turned babyface to where Cody, the impact that he made showing up. And AJ Styles in that list, yeah, he's a babyface, but he's been so cool off, and this entire Edge story has turned into Edge and Priest and this faction to where AJ Styles is kind of left in limbo here. So I think out of these 3, Cody is the hottest thing going.
Yeah, I think I can see why they would position Lashley as number 1, because I gotta think that when Roman eventually gets around to defending these titles, it looks like Nakamura maybe, Lashley's gonna be that next guy, I would think, from the Raw brand to step up to him. I don't really know what Omos's odds are at WrestleMania Backlash, where it looks like they're probably going to go at it again. But I don't know what MVP was talking about on the mic. He didn't barely make it out of that match against Omos. He pretty cleanly beat Omos.
Yeah.
I don't know what match MVP was watching.
I literally had him on background noise yesterday, as like that part of the show. I was like busy doing things, and I turned around. I was like, MVP, shut up! Like, shut up, bro.
Put the bleezy down. I'm sorry. And I'm with you. And with Lashley, though, I will say I'm heartened to hear that the company's still invested in this guy.
Yeah.
And he is one of very few guys or talents in general that WWE has given a push to and seems to have seen the potential and stuck with it. So I'm glad internally they see him as number 1, but I agree. It is so obvious. These fans are organically into Cody right now. He's the top guy. He's talking about going up against Roman Reigns. Internally, Raw, WWE has Seth Rollins as the number 1 heel on Raw, which is who Cody is feuding with. Omos, not on this list. Kevin Owens, number 2. Edge, number 3, with Damian Priest. So if you're the number 1 babyface, you would think you'd be going up against the number 1 heel. That's not the case. It's number 2 babyface versus the number 1 heel. I think that speaks for itself,
Yeah, agreed. And I think it makes perfect sense for this Cody and Seth Rollins storyline to continue. Like he said it yesterday, I didn't know who to expect, so let me face you now knowing it's actually a rematch that makes sense.
Yes, I agree. The fact it made too much sense, I was like, wow.
It's kind of scary, right?
You know what? That's a really good point, Seth. Like, you didn't really get to prep for Cody. Got time to prep. He knew, you would think. Yeah, I think you had a claim there. And, I think I think it'll be a good match. And I think there's a very good chance that Rollins will pick up a win over Cody here. I think
you think so? You think they beat Cody so fast?
I think that there's a little, look, as great as it is right now with Cody being back and everything, it's very unlike WWE to bring somebody in from a situation like Cody's without, I don't want to say humbling them, but making them human instead of just a straight rocket ride.
I just personally feel that humanizing it, while I see your point, is that you have literally nobody that feels credible for Roman Reigns. So in my point, it's like if you want to eventually get to that, you have to keep Cody Rhodes looking strong, right? Because Shinsuke, AJ Styles, Lashley, Drew McIntyre, all of these guys could go after Roman right now, and I believe they stand 0 chance.
I see. The reason I say you give Rollins the win here over Cody is it's a trilogy, right? So you can give Rollins a win here over Cody. Maybe even he cheats a little bit, something like that. And then it sets up the third match, the rubber match. Cody can go over there in the end, get the 2-1. You chewed up month and a half, maybe 2.5 months of time there with some meaningful stuff with Cody and Seth. And then, Roman will be done theoretically with Nakamura. Maybe they want to do with Lashley next. But I think a 2-to-1 split with Cody over Seth, I'm okay with that. And then who's going to be? Look, Seth Rollins needs a little something here right now.
And to your point, Seth Rollins does have a convincing story still going with Roman Reigns, so you also can't bury him in the process of trying to build somebody else, because you could go back to Seth and Roman anytime as well. Sure. Roman didn't beat him. Sure. So, I see your point as well. I just think that I just like what's going on with Cody Rhodes, and I feel like having him lose might affect, the momentum.
Yeah, Sir Wilson here, 3S2K1 saying they're going to job Lashley to Omos this time. I can feel it. It was a very convincing promo from MVP. I actually liked the promo outside of the blatant lie he told about Lashley, I guess, just getting out of it barely over Omos. I thought it was a really good promo. I thought it was very good at making me feel like Lashley would want to hurt this man. Right. I was a little surprised with the directness of like, this guy's going to take your spot. He's bigger than you. I mean, there was some realness to it. I kind of dug it. I dug it.
Yeah. I personally like Lashley's promo more. I thought Lashley really came off as a babyface last night.
Well, Philip Campbell here saying Drew McIntyre needs to beat Roman Reigns for the Universal title. Internally here, McIntyre is listed as the #1 babyface superstar on SmackDown. Reigns is listed as the top heel for SmackDown. He's not even listed on the Raw roster while being the Raw champion, which is its own thing. But Drew McIntyre, the fans are so there for this guy right now. I'm really glad they didn't just immediately feed him to Roman. I think the stuff with Sammy is great. I think those two are good for each other right now. And Nakamura was just going to be kind of floating around the tag division. Now he gets to be a main eventer for a little bit. So I'm okay with that,
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think we need to build Drew McIntyre a little bit more, because I personally remember Survivor Series 2 years ago, and Roman just destroyed him on the mic, on the ring. Like, they put on an amazing match, but Roman won, and Roman beat him at a WrestleMania too. It's like, how many times does Drew need to lose to Roman? Like, I personally don't need to see it again. Not yet.
Brian Bill's here saying in regards to in regards to Cody and Seth, I get tired of the rubber match with WWE. Let the story breathe and revisit it like MJF and CM Punk. You could have had these two at Mania and drift them apart and come back to it. I think that's what Brian's saying. I think I've seen that from other people that said they would have kind of liked to have seen that too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the reason I find that interesting that you invoked MJF and CM Punk here is because I was watching Cody Rhodes and The Miz open up Raw last night with this war of words, and I couldn't help, I think that it's, there are no coincidences in pro wrestling. I think Cody did the CM Punk style comeback. And I kind of, take this with a grain of salt. It's just me saying this, but it kind of felt like they were ripping off the Punk MJF promo segment in this opener here with Cody and The Miz. It felt, Cody's been trying to bring a lot of that AEW flavor to his WWE stuff, and I'm sitting here watching these two, and I was like, God damn, this feels like he's talking to MJF. It's like bigger, more polished MJF, and they're doing the MJF CM Punk back and forth kind of deal, like we saw in AEW. It's a little more it's a lot more watered down, but it felt like they were trying to bring that Punk MJF realness into this Cody Miz program, and I couldn't. Once I saw The Miz as big MJF, it was just something I couldn't unsee. It was very odd. It was very odd to me that they decided to just get right to this and then have Cody beat Miz later in the night. I don't know.
I never thought that The Miz stood a chance, like when they announced the match. So I enjoyed the promo segment a lot more. But once I saw the match announced on the preview, the WWE puts out, I was like, yeah, The Miz is not winning here. So I hope we at least get a back and forth, because on the mic, The Miz, in my opinion, can stand up with anyone and he'll put on, his own weight. I loved it. And I thought it was funny because he gave me that vibe, but I kept calling it the corporate version of it because they were so well dressed, to where CM Punk always comes out in his t-shirt and all that. Yeah. Personally, the presentation was beautiful. No offense, maybe I'm a woman, maybe I'm biased, but seeing these two guys in their expensive tailored suits looking so good and speaking to each other that kind of way, I was like, production value. Like, it felt like the same way, but it felt elevated, right?
I agree. I thought it was really well done. It was just, feels very much like it felt like an AEW segment. And I think that's what they're trying to go for here.
It was like if an AEW segment was shopping at a designer store.
Okay, got it. Yes. All right. Fair. And look, it is a different coat of paint with Cody, but I think that the desire to be a CM Punk type character is very, very strong in Cody right now. And even though
let me ask you something, because I'm struggling with this. Do you like Cody more that he has the fans behind him? Do you think that the fans, because the reaction that he was getting in AEW was so controversial, the John Cena effect, right? And I think it might have clouded how I feel about Cody, because I've been enjoying everything that he's doing promo in WWE. Yes, AEW, I was not with it.
I don't know that Cody was ever built for AEW. I think apolitically, and AEW really set themselves up early on to be like, we're different, morally and ethically a different company than WWE, right? And Cody didn't say the right things at the right times a couple times, and I think that may have soured him to that particular base of fans. But in general, I just don't think Cody was built for the AEW model. This was a guy.
How do you go and build a company and still don't make it work for you?
Because you're surrounded by guys that don't think like you. Cody was brought into New Japan by the Bucks, by Kenny, who had been sold on this guy by Kevin Owens, as the story goes, and he was the WWE guy who was going to go try to find himself and reinvent himself out in the world, and that's everything he said he wanted to do. He did. He came back. The whole thing worked out for him. But he is not of the same big indie vibe thinking of the Bucks and probably Tony and Kenny. Like, his style, his line of thought is more of a old school traditional, I think, of more WWE styled product. And he worked to get them to where they were. But when you get in there day to day and you're trying to make this thing happen, especially at the level they were, I just think he was always a square piece in a circle hole and was the odd man out, and it worked until it didn't, and then he left, and that's fine. That's wrestling. That happens, Right.
I just find it so amazing how much more I'm enjoying him now to where a couple of months ago I was like, get him off my TV. You know what I mean?
I think Cody needed a governor in the worst way. I think he needed somebody to filter his ideas and his stuff through, because he wasn't getting that over at AEW, and he was saying stupid stuff that was getting him in trouble. I think that he was just overtaking the booking. I mean, the way he just kind of pushed past, little Sammy Guevara there and took that TNT title right before he went out the door. I think he'd lost himself and was scrambling to kind of figure out what his direction was. And he needs somebody right now to say, here's your direction. Here's your script. Go out there and be Cody Rhodes. And
I love that you brought that up. I love that, because I've always said that. I think some people are very good at being creatively free, like what AEW offers, but I think some people do need structure and direction, and you'll see them do their best work.
Yeah. Let's see. Doom Tribe T, by the way, saying Tony Khan just announced CM Punk versus Penta for Dynamite tomorrow night. That'll be a banger.
It's gonna be a great match. I mean, we already have Samoa and tomorrow on Dynamite as well. It's gonna be a fun show.
Yeah, another bunch of dream matches here from old Tony Khan. Well, during Cody Rhodes versus The Miz on Raw, Brandy Rhodes took to Twitter. She tweeted out, "You never know, ... and it's led many to think that maybe Brandy could be getting back into the mix. You never know, I guess, to quote her tweet. Anything for you here? Do you want to see Brandy back in the mix, Issa, or no?
Depends on how they creatively book her. I think that Brandy could also hurt baby face Cody Rhodes. It depends on the crowd reaction. But I do know that she comes with a little bit of heat, and I hope that doesn't kill, his momentum. So you have to make it just work perfectly as far as creative goes. And I'm sure they'll have those conversations to make it work. I do like them together, don't get me wrong, but I know that maybe if he was on a heel run, I might be more for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I just don't see a spot for her here right now. I agree with that.
Right now, exactly.
Yeah, so, all right, a couple other things from Raw. I just want to pit her through here before we kind of get to the interview in the mailbag. Sonya Deville attacked Bianca Belair. That's going to be WrestleMania Backlash. I like it too. I kind of hope, it would be a real short reign for Bianca, but I kind of would love to see a heel GM hold the title, different kind of dynamic. Bianca Belair showing up, steel pipe, bashing doors, bashing cars, trying to take this thing back. I kind of want to see that. You know?
I don't know. I know that some personal issues kind of kept her away from the push she was getting originally. I don't know that I want her to win the title quite yet, but I just love the swerve. We're all sitting here waiting. Who's gonna come out? Who's gonna come out? Not thinking at any point that she was just going to take it for herself, even though she's been showing signs of going to the dark side for quite a while now. So
Yeah.
I thought the swerve was very well done. I liked it. We'll see where it goes.
I liked it too. And I kind of got a hint that Adam Pearce maybe saw it and was like, I kind of want to wrestle too. I don't know if there's anything to that, but it seemed deliberate. So I don't know what to make of that. Also on Raw, it would seem that the Usos and RK Bro are destined for a WrestleMania Backlash match to unify the tag titles. Bunch of brouhaha at the end of the show. Street Profits, RK Bro, Usos all intertwined. I kind of dig that Roman is like the backdrop coming out of Mania to the Usos really getting to shine in main event and do some stuff with the tag division. I think it's a cool little pivot.
Me too. I appreciate it. I think if you had no plans for Roman after WrestleMania and you're trying to scramble to get it together, why not let the Usos shine and still keep Roman as, he was there and they didn't even show him. He came out later, I saw on social media. Yeah. So they're just letting the Usos and RK Bro, who can't complain, is one of the hottest things on Raw right now. So I like seeing the main event. I just really want them to unify this because the tag team division really needs it.
Well, Austin Theory is now just Theory. That's the big Austin Theory news coming out of the show. Apparently, Mr. McMahon doesn't like the name Austin, right? Because of Steve Austin, I'm guessing. So he's just going to be Theory.
I guess, maybe Stone Cold just stunned the Austin out of him.
I guess that's what it is. He stunned him, and the Austin shot straight out the top of his head when he popped up in the air of 8 feet.
Which I finally got to go and rewatch, and the sell of Theory of that stunner was beautiful.
Well, Austin Theory is Theory. Elias is now Ezekiel, or so it would seem.
No. Ezekiel is Ezekiel, and Elias is Elias, Nick. Come on.
I guess you saw the Instagram post today where there was Elias and Ezekiel posing right next to each other, right?
Yeah, and then I'm not falling for this.
No,
but oh my God, are they making this work? Like, I can't believe that I like it.
So number 2 heel on Raw is now feuding with Ezekiel, and next Monday, Ezekiel's going to take a lie detector test at Kevin Owens' behest to prove that he is who he says he is. I think this started off maybe in earnest, but they quickly realized that the fans were just like not buying it or whatever, and are just kind of winging it. That's how I feel about this. They're just kind of like, we're just gonna.
It doesn't matter though. It's working. Even the addition of Tommaso Ciampa last night, going, no, that's Ezekiel. I popped. I loved it.
Yeah. Antonio Garcia here saying, by the way, Ezekiel is Elias's younger brother. Elias has a beard. He can't be Ezekiel.
And he has a guitar, and Ezekiel doesn't have a guitar. Yeah.
Well, Dominic Mysterio, he got beaten and stretchered out of the building after a match against Veer Mahan. The Observer saying it was supposed to be Rey Mysterio initially in this match, but he missed Raw due to a medical issue. And I want to note as well that Rhea Ripley missed Raw because of something that happened in protocol. So Morgan ended up taking on Naomi in a singles match, and she ate a loss there. I guess next week we'll get the Raw tag match. Between Rey and Rhea being out with weird issues, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but with COVID cases rising right now, I think this may have been a little hit, maybe a little pocket. And I saw that Pittsburgh has introduced mask mandates for indoor gatherings again. I'm starting to wonder and worry if we're about to go back down a path where things are going to be severely affected again by this pandemic. I'm hoping not, knock on wood, but I read these two items right next to each other, thought of that, and that's kind of where my head's at the moment.
Yeah, same. And I hope, like you said, that everything is okay. And I go back to last weekend where for a few hours and a few events, things felt like normal. And for a second, it scared me too, because I was like, are we really back to normal? Should I be happy right now? Should I be worried? And now you see all of these numbers. I tested when I got back just to be safe, everything negative. So at least there's that.
Well, and Bruce Barrett here saying Veer gives him 80s heel vibes.
I don't like him.
I don't like it either. I want to like it. I want to like it, but Veer needs to be the Veer he is on social media, where he kind of gets the joke and he's a little charming. This like one-dimensional seating, and he walks like, who walks like this? Like somebody told him to walk with his elbows up at ear level like this. It's a very uncomfortable walk.
Maybe that's why I don't like him now that you point that out.
Stupid. Anyway, I want to cheer Veer. I want to fear Veer. I just didn't fear Veer last night. All right. Lastly, here for a little insight, a WrestleMania 38, the main event of Roman Reigns defeating Brock Lesnar to become the inaugural Universal Champion. There was some speculation that Reigns suffered an injury that may have led to a quick finish. Not the case. Reigns did not suffer an injury. The match went down completely as planned and laid out. It was meant to finish the way it did at around 12 minutes of in-ring action. And holy hell, if that was what they wanted to do, no. That match fell flatter than a pancake. I did not think that match came across well.
Yeah, I'm with you. And these are my two favorites, right? But I expected more, and they made it so like, this is personal and coming from blood, and then they just went out there and wrestled a good old regular match, and Roman won. I wanted the visual of Roman lifting his two belts, but I really just wanted it to be after a really, really hard-fought battle against the only person that seemed credible against him. And you didn't give us that. But at the same time, we've seen Brock and Roman so many times that what can they do at this point to outdo what they've done before? They might as well just go get it over with, have Brock lose, and let's just move on.
All right. Well, Issa, I want to thank you for joining me at the top of the show to talk all the news today. Thank you to everybody for jumping in the comments section. Great chats here today. Thank you to Big Damo and Damo. I keep in my head, it's Damo. And then I say it and I'm like, no, it's Damo, but you're saying it wrong. Anyway,
Right.
Great conversation. The video is going to debut here in just a couple minutes over on our YouTube channel. So jump from this to that and keep the conversation rolling in that chat room as well. Let's dive into the mailbag at Wink Daily, WINC Daily. That's the account to follow to vote in the daily poll. Today's poll question stems from the Sports Illustrated report that there was serious internal discussion about having Pat McAfee return to NXT after his War Games loss. The idea was for McAfee to return to the NXT following the War Games loss, then jump Cole after aligning himself with a new partner who would have been NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers. The idea never materialized, but the feeling is that Rodgers would have brought instant mainstream notoriety in NXT.
Of course.
Rodgers and McAfee are friends. He's a regular guest on the Pat McAfee show. And it was also noted that internally it's viewed that McAfee has unlimited potential. He's highly regarded. I do want to go back and look at the timeline here. Of course, Aaron Rodgers made a bunch of noise on Pat's show while discussing COVID. Pissed off a lot of people. I'm wondering if that may have been around this same time here, if that's why this didn't come together. I don't know, but still crazy to think like Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest football players of all time. He's going to get in a wrestling ring. I did not see that coming. Did not.
Listen, we said the same thing about Pat, and look at how freaking over he is, and he's so great on commentary. And now, after Bad Bunny, after Logan Paul, I hate to say it, but I am not that much against some people coming and trying it.
Hey, I think Johnny Knoxville had the match of WrestleMania this year.
I know,
the Johnny Knoxville,
match.
Sami Zayn match is a slam banger. I've already watched it back with Liz, and we enjoyed it. It was wonderful.
Oh my God. I was editing my vlog, and I did reactions for that match, and I had so much fun just watching our facial expressions the entire match. We were so entertained, and on our feet. That match was everything. So
this brings me to my question today. Who do you want to see Pat McAfee have his next WWE match against? With almost 300 votes here, 43.1% said Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon, 29.6% to AJ Styles, 15% to Tommaso Ciampa, and 12.4% to everybody else, including the Buscats right in for Cody Rhodes, which I think is a good one. We have Bad Bunny here from you, also very good. Sami Zayn would be a banger. That comes to us from Israel Lopez. Who else we got here? Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin. Really just kind of a litany. It seems like everybody seems to think Pat McAfee could have a match with anybody. So good.
I mean, yeah, I thought he was great. He was so over. I think my entry comes from everybody saying Logan Paul, Pat, and Bad Bunny have been great. Let's do a triple threat match. Who is the best celebrity to have come into WWE in the past few years? Let them have at it. And have Bad Bunny win, of course.
Okay, fine. For me, I think to Cody. I mean, look, Cody's the hottest thing right now at the moment. I think from a technical standpoint, I think AJ Styles, or Seth Rollins would probably go out there and push this guy to his limits. I'd be interested to see what that looks like. So yeah, I don't know.
But Shane McMahon makes the most sense because we just saw him be so involved with Vince in that WrestleMania moment. That why not Shane?
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, that's going to bring us to the end of the show here today, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow. I am going to be joined by who's on Wednesdays? Brian Wool. Brian Wool is going to be here with me tomorrow. We're going to be talking all the news of the past 24 hours. Also on the show, we're going to have my conversation with Kevin Gill from GCW's The Collective. We're going to have KG in the house here tomorrow with me. If you like the Wrestling Inc. Daily, support us on whatever podcast platform you like. Support WrestlingInc.com. We're on all the socials. Of course, come back here tonight after NXT for more Issa and the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Issa, what do you want to put over here before we wrap up the show today?
Go subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just hit 17,000 yesterday. So NYC Demon Diva on YouTube. Come hang out. I'll be live over there in a little bit.
That is awesome. Congratulations. I am at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Jump over now to watch my conversation with Big Damo, a.k.a. Killian Dane. It's premiering right now as we speak. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.